Hey everyone, welcome to Peaceful Pixels, Virtual Nature for Mental Well-Being. I'm your host, Timothy Hand, and we're just going to jump right in. Quick intro. I'm a Master's of Science in Counseling grad student at Prescott College. I'm also getting my nature-based therapy certification as well. I'm originally from Hawaii, but I do live here in Albuquerque now. And then you'll see my contact information there. Don't be a stranger. If you have a question or you just want to get more information about this research, email me and I'll be happy to provide that for you. If you'd also like to learn a little bit more about me or maybe read some of the stuff that I write about that's less sciencey and probably has more to do with Buddhist psychology type stuff, which is my other area of interest, visit me at optimistichermit.com. And then finally, VR chat. If you do it, find me. I'm Dr. Dapper Tuto. I'm not a real doctor, more of a Dr. Dre type thing. And then you're going to see this QR code up here. That's going to allow you to download the this slide deck. And then the one over here, I'm actually trying to, there we go. The other one is for downloading a paper I wrote recently that has way more information than I can share here. And it's a little bit more clinical, but it has all the research there. So download it. All right, what am I not? All right, I'm not a licensed mental health practitioner. I'm just a counselor in training, doing the steps. I'm not an engineer or an app developer or designer, so that might influence my view of tech. But also for the technical side of things, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a user, and then I have no training in XR systems. I'm just a user of those systems. All right, are you ready? Get excited. What am I even talking about? All right. So in nature-based therapy, we oftentimes say that we use nature as the co-therapist, that the environment itself has a therapeutic effect. And then oftentimes what we do is we try to uh, reconnect the client to the natural environment so that ideally we become obsolete and you can just use nature yourself when you need it for therapeutic effects. And then why am I talking? Well, in the paper down below that you can download, it talks more about this, but that there's accessibility issues with nature-based therapy. So individuals with medical challenges, mobility challenges, socioeconomic issues, or even just you live in an urban environment and to travel out to pristine nature, wilderness is just too ding dang far to drive to. So VR has a, a way for nature-based therapy to be more accessible. What are the prevailing theories of nature-based therapy? So both ART and SRT, which I'll get to in a moment, are underpinned by the biophilia hypothesis. This is credited to E.O. Wilson, a sociobiologist of the mid-20th century, but in a nutshell, it's just humans have a natural affinity for nature because that's where we came from. That's where we evolved. And so there are two ways that nature can be leveraged that has a whole lot of research behind it. There's other ways that have less research, but these ways are the most researched, and that's attention restoration theory and stress reduction. So with ART, it's this experience of involuntary attention, of just being in an environment and being immersed in it, but not having to focus too hard to take in the environment, that it actually restores your mental capacities and restores your attention. So you can focus on a spreadsheet, not going to do that, but soft focus in a nature environment with birds and trees and a babbling brook will actually do this. Stress reduction theory suggests that there's an automatic reduction in psychophysiological stress from being in an immersive environment based off of the visuospatial qualities, which we'll get into. Essentially, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest, and which then kind of chills out your sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight. It takes the foot off the gas and puts it on the brake very gently. Um, ART, the qualities or the elements of ART is that there's an element of being away, of being outside the demanding spaces of work, home, urban environments that are stressful. That there's a compatibility between the desired psychological effect and the environment. So anybody who does do VR chat and you've been to the Black Cat, not compatible for the desired therapeutic effects that we're trying to have here. Fascination, that there's this soft fascination or this intriguing quality about the environment. So this might be trees swaying in the wind or a mountain off in the distance, or even just like a little ladybug crawling across a branch that you can kind of focus but it doesn't take much effort. And then there's this idea of extent, that the environment that you're in has a very clear foreground, middle ground, and background. So it compositionally is full and also makes sense. SRT, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because we're running low on time. Um, is that there's spatial openness, like a wide meadow or an open. You're not enclosed. You don't feel that you're closed in, that there's visual depth. So there's like if you're in a forest, you might be on an open path, but there's a layer to that forest. That the coherence, very similar to extent in the sense that it visually makes sense, which reduces the cognitive load to take in the immersive. And for SRT specifically, that there's an element of refuge, so that there's a balance between shelter and visibility. So I might be in a canopy of trees overlooking an open meadow. So I could go out into the meadow if I want to, or I can stay in the safety of the trees if I want. That there's low complexity. It's not all we say in Hawaii hemajang. It's not all crazy with so much going on visually that you can't take it all in. That there's a gentle motion to it. So the swaying of the trees or water gently coming down a small little waterfall, of which, by the way, I should say that they found that green space plus blue space actually increases the therapeutic effect than just green space alone. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Um, Focal features. Where's the eye going? Is there a mountain off in the distance or a particular tree that is a focal feature for the environment that one is immersed in? And then all these elements together create a de-stressing experience or stress reducing experience. So in these final moments, I want to cover some non-ART and non-SRT features of nature environments that can be reproduced in VR. And that is the element of mystery, the very sciencey term mystery, which there's actually a fair amount of research on this. It suggests that there's something just beyond the corner. So you're on a path and it curves around a bend, and there's the potential to walk around it, but you can't see what's behind it. So that's mystery, and that it actually pulls the experiencer into the environment. There's actually some really great research on this as far as whether it's VR induced or natural, is that awe has this amazing ability of redefining your sense of self with the larger environment. It diminishes the self while increasing connection to that environment. It's actually very similar to the psychedelic experience. And then color or season. What does the color or season of the environment suggest? Cozy? Is it active? So that's just another consideration. And then the mystical or psychedelic experience is very similar to awe, but it takes a journey. So the experiencer moves through the space, and that the space changes as the user changes. So there's that. So with that being said, essentially, I'm just saying that not all nature is alike, virtual or otherwise, that nature imagery can have a therapeutic effect, And that you're not just creating VR environments, you're creating a state of mind. And that those environmental designs can have a huge impact on mental well-being. Is there references? And don't be a stranger. Come visit me at the Explorer event on the 23rd. I'm going to be at the second floor, Rotary Pavilion. Don't know what that is, but look for the guy in the Hawaiian shirt and the glasses and the mustache, and it will be me. I'll see you guys soon.